Hello and welcome to our webinar, B2B Conversion Secrets, optimizing the customer journey to generate more ICP leads from the website. I'm Dawn Upton and I'll be hosting the session today, and we're joined by the incredibly talented and experienced Kate Syme. Kate is a web and special projects manager in the marketing team at Arcserve, an award-winning global organisation serving customers in over 150 countries around the world, protecting digital assets of companies in need of full-scale, comprehensive data and ransomware protection, both on premises and in the cloud. Kate's experience in B2B web management spans over a decade, and she is focused on maximising the conversion rate of the Arcserve website so the marketing team can generate more leads for their sales team. Her specialities include web content management and strategy, process thinking, writing, SEO writing, editing, proofreading, e-commerce, and B2B marketing and sales. So, real expert. Thank you so much for joining us today, Kate.
Thank you for having me. It's nice to be here.
Great to have you here. So, Kate, if you can start by telling us a bit more about Arcserve, that'd be great. Thank you.
Well, you actually did a really good summation already, but I guess to speak a little bit more on that, we're a data protection vendor, and we offer the broadest set of solutions available to protect really any size organization, from a really small business to a global enterprise. And our goal is to eliminate complexity in data protection and bring cost-effective, agile, and super scalable solutions to all data environments. So whether you store your data on premises in a server, or you use a big cloud, a Google Cloud or something, we can protect your data. And it just so happens we'll be celebrating our 40th birthday this summer. So
Wow.
We've been at the forefront of data protection for a really long time. And we're a channel organization, which is to say we're B2B, and we're worldwide.
That's great. Thank you so much. So, Kate, I know we've had some conversations around the challenges that you have at Arcserve, and some of those challenges that led to the decision to go ahead with a B2B personalization solution. So could you tell us a bit more about this first challenge, which was when the merger that you had sort of expanded the audiences that you target and work with?
Yes, so Arcserve merged with another data protection company. I believe it was 2021 now. And each of these two companies, so one of them specialized in smaller businesses and smaller solution providers, and the other in larger organizations and resellers, because the selling model is a little different. And so suddenly we went from not just having two separate kinds of audiences, the solution providers that then sell to our end customers, so being a B2B organization, but additionally we now sell to like the smallest type of business, just maybe a small local law firm, to a global enterprise that is worldwide. So really broad audience. And we span all kinds of industries, because realistically, anyone who is using a computer these days needs data protection. So yeah, so just it's a huge audience to speak to. And yes, so some key industries, we have education clients, we have manufacturing clients, healthcare, etc. So we get they all have the same pain point in terms of they're trying to protect their data, but what that looks like for these different industries can really vary. So than speaking to their pain points is a challenge on a single website. So we looked at personalization to help us target these messages, because if you're speaking to everybody, and in the end, you're not speaking to anybody. So
sure, and it's such a lot of with all those different audiences and size companies, and then the different sectors as well. It's such a lot of content, isn't it, to have on your website? And without personalization, you're relying on that website visitor to come to your top navigation and find it for themselves. And the reality is that a lot of prospects will, you know, if they can't find what they're looking for, they bounce and they go somewhere else to see if it's easier on another site. So, you know, I
totally.
think, you know, the massive challenge in B2B is like once they come to your site, you know, they're not there for fun, are they? They're, you know, if someone comes to the Arcserve website, it's because they have a really a key interest in your products and services. So once they're there, you really want to kind of give them what they're looking for, to try and engage with them and get them to kind of interact with you.
Exactly. And we do have content, you know, that speaks to them. We have case studies, for example, for manufacturers we work with, case studies of how our solution providers work with us and so on. But if they can't find it on the site, what's the point? And you know, these people are busy and they're looking to solve their problems, and we want to help them do that and be efficient about it. So
absolutely. Okay, so then so obviously that process then that you were going through and those sort of identifying those challenges that you had, I know from the kind of onboarding process you went through with us, which, you know, incidentally was just 4 months ago. So you're a very relatively new customer. You sort of discussed your goals with our customer success manager, Bryn, and those were to generate more sort of prospects for the sales team and those kind of on-site conversions. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, please?
Yes, so the purpose of our website really from a business perspective, obviously, is to convert, to have the conversions, to generate pipeline for sales. You know, our we use forms on our website. We don't sell directly on the site, obviously, because we're B2B, but we have contact forms, how to buy forms, partner with us forms, and these are what we call our conversions, and they generate contacts for our sales team, and that's the pipeline. So sales can then contact these people and give them more information, help them in the buying process, maybe help them connect with one of our partners. So that's our mandate, and we want to to provide more, obviously, as much as we possibly can.
Absolutely. And I think what's really interesting about the approach that you've taken, and I think it's why you've had so much success in such a short time, is you've just been so customer focused. So although you've got these two big challenges of those different business sort of sized businesses that you're targeting, all of those different industries that you work with, you know, you've really kind of recognized that actually your customers and your prospects are indifferent to those challenges. They're your challenges. They're coming to you because they want to solve the problem. And so, you know, the best way for you to increase conversions is to help them find what they're looking for, and really kind of adapt the one size generic website to meet the requirements of those prospects. And, you know, some of the kind of the process you've been through in terms of identifying what it is customers are looking for, I think is really, really interesting because, you know, as you say, you've got loads of content, you've got those case studies, you've got those kind of proof points with those logos on your website of, you know, all of the different companies that you're working with. But, you know, for prospects having to sift through that information, it's time consuming. And as you said, people are busy. So it's like, make it as easy as possible for them. to find the relevant information.
Exactly. Yes.
And so, you know, from to that end, like customer experience is key. So you've been really focused on showing prospects that not only do you understand their challenges, but you can solve them. And you know, you have the kind of proof points of that with the customers you're already working with, those case studies, those kind of success metrics for your existing customer base, which you're sharing with those prospects. You were really focused on presenting, like, you know, the most relevant content as quickly as possible to those audiences, and really helping them so they don't have to navigate around your website and kind of find that for themselves. And as I said, that social proof, businesses that look like them. So, you know, it's one of those key things, isn't it? Like, you know, I know this is my pain point, but I know how my business works. Do you? Do you understand how our industry works? Do you understand how an enterprise business works? And so it's all about giving them that information and that confidence, which I think, you know, is a key sort of challenge for you previously. So sort of moving on to the goals then, you know, the goals are very much focused on those key target audiences, obviously, and how you can influence them on your website journey. And alongside that, sort of campaigns that focus on specific data sources, such as behavioural. So tying into that overarching marketing goal and website goal of increasing conversions, we kind of break that down, I think, particularly as a new customer, to just focus on those on these 4 points and to kind of get you started with your personalization. So you've mentioned earlier one of your key audiences as partners, so the provide sort of the managed service providers, and you know, give them a personalized experience by serving sort of a multi-page partnership campaigns, and the goal there was to increase engagement by 25%. You had a specific goal around industry-related personalization, again, serving multi-page experiences. So one of the key things we say is there's no, you know, it's great to personalize the homepage, obviously, but the website kind of process, when people come to your site, it's a journey. So they don't just look at the homepage and then decide to purchase. They're researching, they're looking at other pages as well. And so from an ideal perspective, we recommend 4 pages for each campaign. So you'd always be your homepage and then the next 3 most high intent pages. And that's what Arcserve have done. So every campaign is it's a journey for that prospect, not just the homepage. So again, the next one was to focus on enterprise as an audience. So obviously enterprise prospects are very valuable. So they wanted to increase event rates by 30% for that audience in year 1. And then the last point on here was all around, excuse me, funnel stage messaging to returning visitors. So this is using our behavioural data, where you can identify when someone is a returning visitor, what did they look at last time, and provide the most relevant content to them when they come again. So the goal here was the 10% uplift in conversion rates. So with that in mind, we've now got some examples of how Arcserve built out their personalizations and those changes they made. So this is an example of the manufacturing homepage, and Arcserve have built out personalized experiences for those 4 key industries we referenced earlier. Again, as I said, across the 4 most high intent pages for that sector. So Kate, would you be able to tell us about the changes you've made on this particular experience for manufacturing companies when they come to your website, please?
Yeah, of course. So on the left, you see the homepage everybody sees. And on the right, you can see right away in the header, we're drawing attention to, well, this is for the manufacturing industry. It says data protection solutions for the manufacturing industry. We swapped out the imagery to be more aligned with manufacturing. And we moved up the social proof and put actual manufacturing logos in that spot. So you can see on the left, they're down a couple sections. On the right, we've moved them up and we've specialized them. And additionally, there's some call to actions that are more specific to what a manufacturer might be interested in learning about. You know, at the top there is a product, well, it's an analyst paper about one of our products that would be useful for the manufacturing industry. And then a call to action there in that third section that takes them to an article about reasons why manufacturers need to protect their data, how to do it, and so on. So just much more focused on them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's what's really interesting as well is that it's all information that you had on your website already. So you haven't had to start from scratch with creating new content, writing new material. You know, you already had this information in the manufacturing section. It's just really kind of drawing it to the front, isn't it? So that when they come from the first visit using our IP data, this is what manufacturers see. So it's an instant, we know you're a manufacturer and we can help you. And
yes, and yeah, not difficult changes at all.
Yeah, but really effective. And this is an example of the product page that you have for manufacturing as well. So we're not going to go through every single page. We'll be here all day, but just to show an example of, you know, again, how simple it is on that product page. Kate, can you just talk us through some of these changes as well, please?
Yeah, so again, here we changed the headline, and actually in that first paragraph, probably can't read it, but it also kind of says a little bit more about manufacturers. And then again, the image is more aligned. It's in a manufacturing facility. And then in that second section, there is a statement about manufacturers being targets for hacking, cyber crime, and so on. And then in our third section here, we pulled up a quote from one of our case studies and then linked to the case study as well. And then we've put an additional case study farther down the page. And both these case studies are manufacturing organizations. One is a beverage manufacturer and the other is a safety equipment manufacturer. So obviously industry specific, so that someone in this industry can read these case studies and see how it's implemented in how data protection would be implemented in their kind of environment.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. And so, as I said, Arcserve have built these out for their 4 key industries. And this next example is for their enterprise homepage. So, as we talked about at the beginning, there's kind of 4 key audiences in terms of business size that they target from the partners, the small to medium size companies, mid-sized market, and enterprise. And so this experience is designed specifically with enterprise in mind. So again, Kate, would you mind just talking through some of the changes that you've made there?
Again, so this is pretty similar changes we made at the same time, specific to the size of an industry rather than, or size of the business, pardon me, rather than the industry they're working in. So data protection solutions for the enterprise is right there in the header again. And we did add a call to action as well. It links to a page that speaks about solutions for solutions for the enterprise. So, we have a large product portfolio, and so that page narrows down the solutions that are specific for their size of organization in terms of what would work best for them. Again, the image is updated, to show a cityscape. Enterprises are big and often all over the world, and so that seemed appropriate. And then again, the social proof, the logos, which, as you mentioned before, we already had these logos. It was just a matter of picking the ones that would speak to this audience. And then again, another link in that third section to content specific to the enterprise sector. You know, one of our case studies, I think, is what it is.
And Kate, do you
So
find
call to actions for them.
Sorry. And then,
Go ahead,
Kate,
sorry.
do you find that the enterprise organizations that you're targeting, they have different pain points to the smaller size companies or those that are looking for partners? Like, how does it differ?
Well, if you're an enterprise organization and you're around the world, or even if you're not, but they typically have they typically have an in-house IT staff. They have who will probably implement the solution, so they'll buy it through a reseller, for example, rather than a solution or like a service provider, which would provide the solution but also run it for you. So that's one major difference. There are, of course, in big organizations, a lot more hoops to jump through to get things done. So there are more decision makers. Need to be able to convince the IT team would need to be able to convince the CEO to purchase the solution. The order sizes are much larger. The sales cycle is much longer typically. And they're often doing a whole lot of research online before they make a purchasing decision, before they even talk to anybody. So
yeah, so like the latest stats on that are like 70% of the research is already complete, isn't it, before they even reach out? So you know, when you
right.
have got all of those different decision makers kind of researching and looking at the solution, you want to make sure you're giving them the information that they need, right? And you know, when a big opportunity comes to the website, you want to make sure you've rolled out that red carpet and given it everything you've got to kind of, you know, make sure that opportunity at least reaches out and talks to you and gives you the opportunity to kind of converse with them and tell them in more detail what you can do and work with them. So
Definitely.
So this campaign, so I mean, as you said, like enterprise clients, so valuable. They tend to have a high order value, but also be harder to win. But this campaign in particular has had a 95% conversion rate uplift compared to a non-personal experience. Yeah, so made some huge impact there. And then again, we've got an example here of the enterprise request a demo page. So as we sort of said earlier, it's not just the home page, it's those most high intent pages, ensuring it's a consistent, personalized journey on the website, not just the home page and then back to the normal site on the rest of the pages. So again, Kate, just if you could just quickly talk us through some of the changes you made here.
Yeah, so in the header is just really simple, just saying we know the enterprise, we can speak to you about what your needs are. So just bringing forward that these are solutions for the enterprise, and then slimming the product selection or the demo selection in this case to those solutions that are best for them. So you can see there's 6 on the left and 5 on the right. One of the products just is typically more for the mid-market, so doesn't maybe belong here necessarily, and it just helps with selection for them too. So
that's great, thank you. And so we, you know, obviously, as we said, there's, you know, a whole heap of campaigns that you've been working on and you've built out for these personalized experiences, but obviously we don't have time to go through them all. But what I do know is that you're relying on a number of different sources from a data perspective to deliver those campaigns. So, you know, one of those is our IP data. So, you know, that's being used for your company size campaigns and industry campaigns. You have a number of behavioural campaigns running as well. So again, this is, based on what did they do last time they came to the site, returning visitor kind of personalizations, so that it's super relevant. They don't have to sift through all of the content again to find what they're looking for. If we know they looked at a specific product or service last time, it's putting that at the front of their experience so that it's a positive experience for them. And
Right.
And also, Kate, I know that you use our Marketo integration,
Yes.
which, one of the many benefits of that integration is it allows you to consistently track conversions. So all your conversion forms are on your website, and the Marketo integration means that the two systems are mirroring each other, aren't they? So you can see the same information in our Webeo reporting suite as you can see in Marketo. So can you tell me a little bit about how that makes, I know it makes your life easier, right? It's when the two systems are telling you the same thing. It's that's a really really good sort of point of proof, isn't it, for you, data points for you?
Yes, definitely. It's helpful to have consistent information across our marketing channels, and it makes tracking simpler in terms of how well the personalization is doing. Enables us to say, yes, this is working, or we need to make a tweak or whatever. So it's just easy to set up in terms of, we know we have these forms, we know we want to count these as our conversions, so we can put them in the tracking area in the Webeo platform, and we then get the reporting and know how we're doing. So yes, helpful, very.
Good, great. And I know as well there's plans, so obviously with the integration you can then also set up specific campaigns to audiences in Marketo. And I know you've got, as we said, you're 4 months in, so
Right.
you've got some plans to kind of lean on that as well and create specific campaigns for those different audiences in Marketo too.
Definitely.
And then yeah, I mean, some of these results, let's talk through these. So in just 4 months across all campaigns, you've seen a 39% increase on site conversion. For that enterprise campaign that we just talked about, that's a 95% increase, which is fantastic. You've also got an all matched campaign running, which is a bit like a catch-all. So for those businesses that don't kind of fall into the criteria for enterprise or one of the other kind of industries, perhaps, then they might come into the all matched, and that's seen a 27% increase in conversion as well. So that one would be like super simple personalization, just to kind of just to kind of mirror, like, the specific company, and things like that. Just a really simple personalization that definitely has an impact. And then, as we've said, Kate, you've got a minimum of 4 pages personalized across each of those experiences. So really positive. So I think it would be really great to kind of hear from you what sort of impact these personalizations and these results have had on your business.
Well, I mean, the results, especially just 4 months in, are much higher than we expected. I mean, we kind of expected the momentum would go a little more slowly, and we were very happy with that. In terms of, we know it takes time. It's kind of a crawl, walk, run process, but I mean, these are great results, and we're happy to see it. And we can see, as we've gone through this process, we can see what other campaigns we can implement, how else we can use the tool. I guess in short, we just expect great things at this point, after results like this in such a short period of time. So yeah, and the IP database that you guys have is super helpful. So I mean, that's enabled most of our campaigns, in fact. So yeah, that's yeah, I guess our minds are just a little blown at how quickly we've seen results. So it's been cool.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And then how was the onboarding process with Webeo and your customer success manager, Bryn?
It's been great. I mean, it's been really high touch, I guess you could say. Like we started out with training sessions, we had weekly calls, which have scaled back a little bit now that we're getting the hang of things, but we have regular check-ins. He's available on email. We even had like a quarterly review. It's been great because, I mean, if we just went into the tool, I mean, we would be wondering where to start. And meanwhile, we've had really excellent training and enablement. It's obvious that our success matters to Webeo. And yeah, so it's been super helpful. I mean, we know what personalization is. We understand the concept and what needed to happen, but having experts talk us through it or tell us what they've seen in terms of success in other campaigns or what works, just having that guidance and that advice and helpless setup has been really huge. It's made the tool so much more valuable than it would be just if you just walked into it. I feel like a lot of tools you get to use, there's this learning curve, and sometimes that's daunting, so it takes a while to get to it. I'll have time in a few weeks. I'll learn how to use the tool. This we could make useful right away. And I think that's a big part of why we are seeing the results we are seeing so quickly.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much. So we are going to end the session there. Thank you so much for joining us today, Kate. I really appreciate it. It's been great talking about the focus you have on, you know, that customer journey online. I really love the way you approached it in terms of this is our challenge and the problem we're having on our website, but our customers, that's not their challenge. They're coming to us.
They don't care.
Their points to solve. Yeah, exactly. They don't care. They're coming to solve a problem. And so I think the customer-led approach you've had just speaks volumes about the results you've seen. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us. And for everyone attending, thank you so much for coming along to this session. Any questions you've got, just let me know. I'll come back to you all on an individual basis, and you know, happy to help, happy to talk through what it might look like for you or for our existing customers, how you could do and approach your personalization in a similar way. So thank you, and I'll speak to you soon.
Thank you for having me.